Tyler loves food more than anyone you know. He criticizes his date, Margot, for smoking because it might spoil her taste for tonight's subtle flavors. 7 more guests arrive at the docks. The restaurant is extremely exclusive, on a private island owned by a celebrity chef. Tyler is surprised to find he'll be dining with Lillian, a famous food critic, as well as many other well-known people and movie stars. When they reach the island, it turns out the reservation was actually for Tyler and another woman who couldn't come, making Margot her last-minute replacement. This adds an awkward twist to their first date, and for some reason, the place gives Margot an uneasy feeling. The receptionist, Elsa, takes the distinguished guests on a tour of the island, spanning 12 acres of farmland. Everything served on the island, including scallops, crabs, vegetables, spices, honey, smoked meats and more, is grown and harvested right here. The island staff functions like a close-knit family, all residing there except for the chef, who lives alone in a secluded cottage in the woods, off-limits to everyone, including staff. Upon reaching the restaurant, there's already a woman enjoying wine. The kitchen staff is already busy preparing the first dish. Since docks, Richard and Margot seem to share an unspoken connection, both awkwardly trying to keep their distance. Margot feels the sting of being a replacement once more. Elsa informs them that taking photos of the dishes is forbidden. The chef believes the beauty of his creations is in their fleeting existence. Before the serving, Tyler observes the kitchen staff at work, displaying how knowledgeable he is about food to Margot. He's told to sit down, surprised that the staff knows his name. They know every guest's name. Finally seeing Chef walk in, Tyler thinks he's staring at him, but Margot knows his gaze is fixated on her. The staff presents their first creation, compressed and pickled cucumber melon with milk snow and charred lace. Lillian is impressed by the dish, but finds faults in everything, and her editor, Ted, nods in agreement with everything she says. Felicity uses the dinner as an opportunity to announce her intention to break things off with George. She's been both his agent and lover. In the meantime, Tyler discreetly takes a few photos. Soren, Bryce, and Dave are there to enjoy some downtime away from business. Margot, curious about Tyler's passion for food, asks him to elaborate. He explains that while some people are captivated by movie stars and athletes, he is fascinated by food and the artistry of chefs transforming basic ingredients into culinary masterpieces, with Chef Slowick being the pinnacle of such creativity. During the first course, Chef Slowick gives a monologue about his expectation for diners to savor the food, to truly taste it, not just eat it. The course, named The Island, features an assortment of plants from around the island, artfully arranged on rocks from the shore, crowned with a scallop. Slowick's speech delves into nature, which Margot finds irrelevant, but it deeply moves Tyler, who discreetly takes another photo. As the guests slowly consume their meals, it's clear their minds are elsewhere. Tyler hopes to impress Chef Slowick. Soren and his friends seek the experience. Lillian's criticisms don't quite hit the mark, and despite Richard and Anne's marriage, their silence speaks volumes, hinting at a hope that this dinner might mend their relationship. Oh, and Linda, she's Slowick's alcoholic mother. For the second course, Chef Slowick shares a piece of history about ancient peasants, who would dip stale bread in wine for breakfast, a staple for the common man. However, he reminds his guests that they are far from common, and thus, tonight's dish is a breadless bread plate. The diners initially think it's a joke, but they soon realize Slowick is earnest in his presentation. Lillian still manages to find fault with the mere accompaniments, while Tyler is in awe of Slowick's ingenuity, praising the chef's genius. Despite Margot's skepticism, pointing out that this isn't really food, Tyler insists that Slowick is crafting a narrative through his dishes. Bryce requests some bread, but Elsa politely declines. Despite the trio emphasizing their connections with the island owner and insisting on just wanting some bread, Elsa, fully aware of their status, still refuses to serve them any. Soren sighs in disbelief. Then, Elsa leans closer to him and whispers something unsettling, catching him off guard. In the midst of this tension, Margot hasn't even touched her food, and Tyler, determined not to let it go to waste, accidentally knocks over a glass. Chef Slowick approaches their table, curious about why Margot isn't eating. She frankly tells him that she doesn't view what he's serving as food, and despite his urging, insists she will only eat what she wants. Tyler finds her attitude towards Chef humiliating, taking his side over hers. The third course, Memory, takes a personal turn as Chef Slowick recounts a childhood incident of domestic violence, symbolized by chicken thighs with scissors in them. Each guest receives tortillas engraved with revealing truths. Lillian show restaurants she doomed with her reviews. Richard and Anne see their strained relationship and his infidelity. Tyler's depict his secret photos of the night. George is reminded of a regrettable acting role, and Soren's group sees fake company charges. Soren's threats of legal action are dismissed, underlining the chef's bold confrontation of each guest's vulnerabilities. Tyler feels disliked by Chef Slowick and aims to make amends. Margot, upset by Slowick's bold move of taking Tyler's picture, suggests rejecting the dish. Tyler sharply rebukes her, calling her childish and insisting she be quiet, then goes back to praising Slowick's culinary creations. Margot, deeply offended, retreats to the ladies' room for a smoke. While looking outside, Slowick confronts her, troubled by her disapproval of his food. He expresses how her not enjoying his meal hurts him and probes deeper into her identity, hinting he knows Margot isn't her real name and noting that she shouldn't be here tonight. Margot, standing her ground, advises him to keep out of her personal matters. During the fourth course, the staff arranges a stage adorned with branches. Chef Slowick introduces this dish, named the mess, crafted by a sous chef. He commends the sous chef's talent but remarks that he doesn't match his own greatness. Following a kiss from Slowick, the sous chef is revealed as the course itself, leaving everyone but Tyler in shock. Slowick attempts to ease the guests' alarm, claiming it's all part of the exclusive experience meant to entertain. Lillian rationalizes the act as mere performance, yet not all guests are convinced. As the dish is served, Margot voices her confusion and concern, but Tyler, undistracted by the unfolding drama, continues to savor his meal and wine, fully immersed in the culinary experience. As Richard attempts to leave, the situation escalates dramatically when the staff intervenes by severing his left ring finger, serving as a stark warning to all guests to remain seated. This horrifying turn of events sends shockwaves of panic through everyone, except for Tyler. Unfazed by the chaos, Lillian and Ted still believe it's acting. Elsa summons Margot to the kitchen, where Chef Slowick awaits. He probes once more for her true identity. When Margot inquires if her honesty could spare her life, Slowick bluntly refuses, stating it would disrupt his planned menu. Everyone is destined to die tonight. He presents her with a chilling choice: die among the guests as a taker, or join him as a giver within 15 minutes. Amidst this surreal moment, her focus narrows on Tyler's oblivious inquiry about whether the next course will feature protein or vegetables. Her response: a slap. Tyler's concern remains fixated on the culinary experience, highlighting his alarming detachment from reality. Guests are served a simple cup of tea. Soren's attempt to escape by breaking a window fails when he discovers it's bulletproof, and Elsa quickly ushers him back to his seat. Chef Slowick then reveals his frustrations at how everyone present has contributed to him losing passion for his craft. He criticizes Lillian for her destructive reviews, with Ted as her complicit enabler. Richard, a frequent diner, who despite his 11 visits, fails to remember a single dish, highlighting the futility of striving for approval from those seemingly indifferent to his art. The island's owner, Doug Varick, an angel investor and Soren's boss, who took over during the COVID-19 pandemic, is drowned in front of everyone. The silence means that Slowick doesn't work for Varick anymore. With the time up, Margot has to relay her decision. She tries to weasel her way out, saying that she really doesn't belong here, but it's too late for that. The moment of truth reveals Margot's actual identity. She is an escort named Aaron. It's disclosed that among her clients was Richard, and she ceased seeing him under disturbing circumstances. He had hired her to impersonate his daughter. At the next course, Chef Slowick gathers everyone outside where sous chef Catherine takes the stage. She exposes a past where Slowick sexually harassed her, then ignored her for 8 months after she rejected him. She then stabs Slowick, labeling the course, Men's Folly. Slowick offers a chance to escape to the male diners via a game of cat and mouse, with a 45 seconds head start. The ladies join Catherine inside for the 6th course. Meanwhile, the time expires and the staff goes after the males. Catherine admits that everyone is dying tonight and it was her idea to begin with. Margot admits to knowing Richard and that her real name is Aaron. Meanwhile, Tyler just can't help himself. Before long, all of the male guests are caught. Slowick pauses the deadly menu to address Tyler's situation, demanding to know his prior expectations. Tyler reveals he was lured by the promise of an unparalleled dining experience, one that would end fatally for all involved. He admits to hiring Margot, knowing she'd die, leading to her striking him in anger. However, Slowick sees value in Tyler's deep culinary knowledge, choosing to elevate him rather than condemn. He commends Tyler's expertise and invites him to demonstrate his cooking prowess, effectively incorporating him into his team. This twist sees Tyler preparing to showcase his culinary skills to the gathered guests. Nervously, Tyler announces the ingredients he requires, his hands trembling as he clumsily prepares them, choosing lamb as the protein. The pressure mounts, with every guest's gaze fixed on him, causing him to sweat profusely. After presenting his creation to Slowick, the verdict is harsh. Slowick declares it terrible, dubbing the dish Tyler's BS. Slowick leans in to whisper to Tyler, stating he would never receive his praise, nor is he deemed worthy enough to be included in his menu. Tyler shamefully walks away. He then calls for Margot, dubbing her one of her sous chefs, explaining to her that they are missing a key ingredient for their dessert, a barrel from the smokehouse, and asks Margot to bring it. As Margot leaves, she sees Tyler removed himself in the closet. Before continuing with the menu, George expresses that it's unfair for them to be punished. It is then Slowick reveals the reason George is here. He had one day off in months and saw George's terrible film. His day was ruined. That's it. There is nothing more to it. As for his date, there is no real reason. She's just dying. Margot finds a knife in the smokehouse, heading straight for Slowick's cottage. A move expected by Elsa. No one is allowed in Chef's house, and in fear that Margot might replace her, Elsa attacks her. They brawl through the whole kitchen, but in the end, Margot overpowers Elsa. She snatches her keys and opens the silver door. Margot uncovers several hints that shed light on Chef Slowick's path to his drastic decision for the evening's grim finale. Among these, a notable discovery is a framed Employee of the Month award, featuring a younger and happy Slowick working as a cook at a simple diner. She notices a radio and calls for help, then returns with the barrel to the restaurant. Slowick explains that he's accepted himself as a demon, but everything he is doing is pure. His monologue is interrupted by a boat arriving. The staff proceeds to clean the dining room and tells everyone that if they ask for help, they will be responsible for the death of an innocent man. The Coast Guard walks in and Slowick explains that nothing out of the ordinary is happening. He then spots George and asks for his autograph. George gladly does, but as the Coast Guard heads to the exit, he sees that it's a cry for help, pulling his gun out immediately. Everyone starts pointing at Slowick, and as the guests believe they have been saved, he reveals the gun to be a lighter. He was a cook in disguise and returned to the kitchen. Final course is about to be served, when Margot gets an idea. She grabs everyone's attention and declares that she dislikes Slowick's food and would like to send it back. Margot explains that she couldn't enjoy any of the dishes he served tonight. It's loveless and she's still hungry. Slowick is perplexed. Margot would really go for a cheeseburger right now. A real one, not some deconstructed Avon BS. Slowick cooks 2 beautiful patties with cheese, and as he does, he slightly smiles. He serves the burger with fries, and after a bite, she expresses her enjoyment and wonders if she can have the rest to go. Slowick packs it to go. He let Margot go because she reminds him of the joy of simple, well-prepared food. Slowick thanks everyone else for dining with them tonight, noting that they represent the ruin of his art and his life. But now they are to be part of it. The final course is the guests themselves. They are coated in marshmallows and caps, called s'more. Slowick grabs a handful of charcoal and sets the dining room on fire, together with the kitchen. Margot observes the explosion from a boat, continuing to eat her cheeseburger. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this.